Hello, I am so excited to be here with Joel Karabo Elliott, an amazing musician, human, spiritual being that I have known for over a decade now, to believe, and has collaborated in making what I believe has brought to life books, Natando's journey and Ahmed's journey that I wrote from my heart. And I feel like Joel took those and brought a an aliveness to them that allows children around the world to feel and see and experience his music, the vibrations and the animations that are just make the book all the more real. And where I invited Joel to have a conversation about how he approached the books in bringing the music and the animation to be. So welcome, Joel. I am so grateful to have this conversation with you, and may the internet hold strong so we can have this time together. Thank you.
Yeah, it's good to have a party with you, Jill. It's been a long time since we've been together, but soon come. And yeah, friends and family out there, it's been an amazing journey to work with the spirits and stories of Notando and Ahmed, and just want to honor Sister Jill and her dedication to the creative craft and the spiritual journey of humankind. The way that she's brought together the journey as an educator, as a world traveler, as a breath worker, and as an artist, it's remarkable. And it's really the natural way that she crafts the books in bringing together all these experiences and cultures and forms of living that drew me to work with her. Um, and then secondarily, the Southern African connection that we share, and having met her in California in a yoga studio which she founded called Jabulani, which we know in Southern Africa very well. This name, joyful, or being joy, having joy, joyfulness, and her first book, Notando's Journey, which I was drawn to immediately when she shared with me the first format of it, with the original artworks. By Alicia Casey, and give thanks to her as well. I witnessed a book that was really alive in a way that I hadn't seen very often, because of the principles of the yoga life that were interwoven with an indigenous African story, celebrating the wisdom of traditions and rituals that are often ignored by the media when we discuss international affairs and when we discuss world cultures. And I saw the music coming out of the artworks and the page and the story. I just heard the music, and I told her, I said, look, I'm living in South Africa. I can easily visit Eswatini, and I know artists there. I can make a movie of this book very easily and efficiently with our people there. And even to visit Mhlanga, which is the ritual that's the centerpiece movement of the book, where the maidens of Eswatini visit the king and the queen and present the reeds. One of the largest remaining community ritual celebrations in Southern Africa. And so Jill entrusted me with the project, and give thanks. I worked with Bonisile as the poet narrator, and our band had already created some very nice, simple children's music with kalimbas and marimbas and guitars and voices. Grow within my soul, grow within my child. These songs were already in production. So, and then through another bandmate, we found Thomas, the animator. And so we created this beautiful film that brought the book to life. And Jill commenced the work with Ahmed's Journey, which is the second book in the series. And I guess it was obvious that we were going to continue working together at that point, and she saw the value. And so I proposed to her that I visit the desert of Arabia's. And the role to me as a music producer and a film producer in bringing these books to life is a musical ecological role and a role of purifying the work by bringing the work that is the book back into direct contact with the people and the landscapes that the book is speaking of. And so in that way, I'm an extension of Jill. Jill is you're a mature woman. You got a lot going on in your life. You have other things, other businesses and pursuits. So I'm like your cultural emissary in a way. And I embrace that role because the books are so authentic and beautiful, and they're the right message. Today they are countercultural message. They're really asking children to consider the simple values of life again and celebrate true humanity, the basic artistry, culture, humanity of living a life in tune with nature, our true nature, to breathe, as Ahmed teaches us. Simple, true nature. And to learn to approach that by moving up into the sand dune to observe the environment. And this is my goal as a musician, is to use sound to connect our hearts and minds with ecology, and through it to know God, to know spirit, to know the value of the soul. And so I was just really glad to be able to travel to Israel and Sinai, Egypt, and work with Baba Yair Dalal. That's a whole story of how we got connected, but it was absolutely spirit-led, that I was brought into the friendship with this man Yair, who has been playing the oud and the Arabian music, the Bedouin music, for a long time, creating peace between Israel and Palestine culturally. And Yair was really the person who brought me in contact with this Bedouin music, because he's been playing it for so long as part of the Bedouins of the Negev desert. And so he really just guided me to understand this music, and from there on, share with a number of people in that region while I was there what this book is about, gain from them the affirmation that this book is relevant, that it's true to the culture, which is a Bedouin culture, the Bedouin culture, pre-Islamic, pre-Arab. This is Bedouin, this is roots culture of the wanderers, survivalists, thrivalists of the Mediterranean region and the desert regions of Arabia, North Africa, all the way from Morocco to, modern day Morocco to Iraq. There were boys like Ahmed. So yeah, from Notando to Ahmed, here we are, Mama.
Yes, and I want to honor the differences that Joel and I talked about, in that, yes, traveling and visiting and observing and having the collaboration with Bonasile, and in Natanda's Journey, who is the narrator and is a school teacher there in Swatini, and she's also does beautiful spoken word poetry on the collaboration that and to me brings the, as Joel is speaking of the exchange of the outside world with the inside world, and knowing that we are one with all of it. And I think that's what drew me to Joel even closer, was his incredible insistence of doing it in a way that it felt so real to me. Because when I am in these places, we want to bring those places alive for the person watching the film or reading the book. And these are special richly cultural, long ago events that still exist today. And we each have, when we go out into nature, we understand that beautiful exchange that can happen in our environment. And Ahmed and Natando both have these experiences with their environment that helps them understand their inner world, to help them feel that connection and part of one. And I just am grateful that Joel had that tenacity and but more important, I think more importantly, he embraces the opportunities that are there, and these friendships that you create through music, and invite them to be part of this. That's where I would like to hear a little more about the friendship that happened and these instruments, because really the music is very, if for a Western ear, when I hear the music and we hear this, tell me a little bit more, or tell us a little bit more. You mentioned the instruments and
the
creation of the music for Ahmed, and a little bit about the animation, and the animation for both, really, because they're similar, aren't they? In the sand. I love the sand painting.
Yeah, so let's start with the sand painting, because that was the first part of the process. Because when I started this, I was still in South Africa, and one of my chief collaborators there is Tawanda Mandu, who's a sand artist, and as a collective, we perform live with him on a light box in sand, and it's projected onto a screen. So it's an ever evolving. We call it sandimation, and to me, it's one of the most remarkable art forms, which I would encourage as many art teachers to take up for their children, because children love to play in the sand, and it's a great way to make art. But with Ahmed's story unfolding on the sand dunes of Arabia, it made a lot of sense to integrate the sand art. And so, it's very abstract, a lot of it, and it's not meant to it's like watercolor in a way, but it's constantly evolving watercolor in a way. It's very fudgy, and you feel nature moving as the hand moves through the sand, and the light comes into the negative space. And sometimes if you tap the light box, then the sand jumps or it moves. And so when the story, you've written in Ahmed's thoughts, or as he was observing the nature, how the sand shifts and drifts. And so Tawanda was able to bring that to light on the light box. And then, when I found myself on the Red Sea with musicians organized by Yar Dalal, playing the oud, which is it's a grandfather of the guitar. Oud is a round-bodied, hollow-bodied instrument with strings across a sound hole and a neck and a fretboard, like a guitar. And this really became the backdrop for the music, because Yair had been playing with musicians in the Negev and in Sinai for a long time. And again, it's a culture of music that's not very well known. So, just to be able to bring that to light, and in the midst of the workshops and playing music with these beautiful people and learning more of the Arabic language. Uh, so also put Ahmed's story, the book itself, in front of them, and them to read it and say, yes, continue. You know, that was important.
It was important. It was, I think Joel and I both agreed, and we felt, because to really, for me to have any kind of there's no ownership over these stories. There, for me, it was a heartfelt, and it still is to me, that children around the world are part of so many different beautiful cultures. And whether I'm sharing a tradition that is not one that I was raised in, but that can be told and participated and collaborated with from the people that were raised with it, is so important to both of us. Like, I can't. And it gives me great joy to be able to hold hands with these adults, sharing their childhood stories with the children of the world, because we owe it to them. We need to look at generations forward, and that is where this project is going forward. And I am so grateful, and there will be more, and I can't wait to see what that's about. But
Yeah.
Ahmed and Natando have music, they have life, thanks to Joel. You can hold it in your lap and sit with your child and talk about your emotions and what your fears are, letting your child know that your humanness. It's great that it's part of Think Equals project around the world, which is given for emotional intelligence through the nonprofit. And I just can't wait to see what's next.
Yeah, let's keep journeying. And for everyone watching, just really encourage you to keep on visiting the forest, the river, the desert, the sea, taking that time to really hear the music that's within you, and hear it come up through you, and express it to your children, to your partner, to your spouses, to your communities.
And I would absolutely second that, and just add, feel it all. Feel it all. Feel it all. And if we numb it or ignore it, it's only coming back. And Ahmed, and these small children know it. Natando knows what she's afraid of. Ahmed he sees the storm, and he feels the storm inside himself. And we all know that we have shut ourselves out from ourselves, and that these young kids, we don't want to pass that along. Let's let them feel, and let's go back to that childness within ourselves, and reconnect with what we left out. So Joel, you have beautiful nature behind you. So I'm just enjoying that.
Good.
In Kentucky?
Yeah, I'm in Clear Creek, Kentucky right now. Beautiful homestead of our roots grown deep life.
So beautiful. And please continue to share, and with Roots Grown Deep, amazing works coming forward. And I don't want to date this conversation, because you're headed to, so I want to say where you're going, but if this is played again in the future, but you're headed back to sub-Saharan Africa, right? Are you going back to, but this is dated in 2023, and who knows where we will be when this is played.
Yeah, as of today, I'm planning to return back to Southern Africa for the first time since the pandemic. if we want to continue to date this conversation. But we've all been through a lot in the last few years, and we have to honor and acknowledge that and what this so-called pandemic did to our societies. We're all still kind of reeling and recovering and loving through it all, and grateful for whatever lessons it taught us. And I think, again, just to give honor to Ahmed and Notando, they have a lot to teach us.
Thank you. And I think that's a perfect place to conclude for now. So thank you so much for your time. So good to see you. So good to see you. And we'll talk soon.
Shalom, salam, kalerato, siabo.
Ciao, adios. Goodbye.